Hello, everybody. Welcome to the channel Soccer with Gus, where we talk about the new England revolution in soccer and everything that's going on in Major League Soccer. My name is Gustavo Lopes, and once again, be welcome to Soccer with Gus. Now, doing the post game, the second post game of the channel, the first post game of the MLS 2025 regular season. On Saturday night, the New England Revolution tied a 0-0, a scoreless game against Nashville SC in Nashville, where where the New England Revolution went on the road for the first time this year on the first game of the season and actually had a good performance against Nashville. So we're gonna cover the game. What did I like? What did I not like? A few notes that I took, uh, and then a little bit heading into next week's game against Columbus Crew. All right. So if you enjoy it, please subscribe. Please leave your like. That's gonna help a lot to grow the channel. Um, let's start with the stats of the game. It was a 0-0 draw, as mentioned, as you guys know. Nashville ended the game with 51% of ball possession, 110 expected goals against 0.46 for the Revolution, 13 total shots for Nashville, 11 for the Revs, three shots on target for Nashville, two for the Revs, right? Uh, each team had a one big chance missed. Uh, and actually a few blocked shots as well. Um, looking at the numbers, right, pretty balanced, um, pretty equal. Even though the expected goal seems a little over for Nashville because they did have some good chances, but I think the Revs, especially at the beginning of the second half, had some good chances as well. So maybe the XG is not as fair as I like it to be, but those are the numbers for the game. Recapping the game, right? Rev started a little slow. I think there was a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of nerves. Some of those guys that have only been there for like 3 or 4 weeks. So they were still trying to build up that chemistry, right? In the meantime, you also had some guys that have been there for a while. 150 starts for Brandon Bay, 150 starts for Carlos Hill. Carlos Hill getting to this 15,000 minutes with the Revs. So those some marks that I like to mention that were also pretty special for the week one of MLS. But the Revs started a little slow. Started studying the game a lot. Nashville as well. Nashville didn't have the big chance in the first 5-10 minutes. Even though they were getting there, they were having the possession. The Revs had took a little bit more of time for the Revs to start getting possession and start controlling the game and trying to go deep. So the first big chance actually came, I believe, like at the 25-minute mark. So first thing, right? Last week when I talked to Caleb Porter, he said he didn't want Cazio dropping back to get the ball and start to build up from way behind uh, the midfielders, right? He did. Cazio did that twice in the first 12 minutes. He went back, he went low, he went near the defenders, he was behind Jackson Will and Yusuf to get the ball and try to build, which of course didn't lead to anything. And then after that, I think Calaporte might have said something to him, and then he didn't do that again. Not that I can remember. I usually take some notes, and I don't remember seeing him doing dropping back anymore after the 12-minute mark. Um, and then Nashville had that first chance at the 17-minute mark with some surge where he was left alone, pretty much marked in the box for a header. Um, I know there's a lot of people debating, not debating, but I know there's a lot of people saying that Fofana had a great game and the defensive line was solid. Those two plays, the two unmarked, the two times where Sam Surge was unmarked and he was able to have it, and then Ivacic made a great save. So those are probably the two most the two moments that we got to worry about because that happened a lot last year, including against Nashville. And then I don't know whose fault is it. If it's Brandon Bynes, I believe it's Fofana. I will blame it on Fofana because he's the tall man. He's supposed to be the one marking there. I don't know if there was a miscommunication. Most likely, yes, but it happened twice, and then that's something that luckily didn't concede. They didn't concede after that, but for that, because of that. But that's something that we gotta be looking at and see whose man is that, and how can we make sure that does not happen again. Um, so that's something I wanted to note as well. The first chance the team had was with Ganago at 25-minute mark, where he has that he cuts to the left and shoots, and then Willis just like touches to a corner kick. At the 35-minute mark, Ganago again on the left side. He does a dribble to the left, goes deep, and then passes the cutback pass to Leo Campagna, who then proceeds to shoot, and then the shots block almost at the goal line. Um, so those are some of the things that happened on the first half. Like I said, the Revs played a pretty decent first half for an away game, first game of the season. So all those things counts, right? When you have the first game of the season, and then you're a little nervous, you want to do better than last year. So for all those circumstances, I think the Revs had a pretty decent first half. One of the other things I noticed too, and I tweeted that, was in many opportunities where last year and the years before, the players go straight to Carlos Hill to give him the ball, they didn't. As for example, one of the plays was Luca Langoni on the right side, where he has Carlos Hill near the sideline, and then he decides to turn to the middle and try to fight the guy in the middle. That happened a lot of times last night. And my feeling, the feeling that I have, and it's just as a guy who's watching from the outside, uh, those guys don't feel the need anymore to focusing in Carlos 100% of the time. They don't feel like they have to give him the ball 100% of the time. They feel like they have those responsibilities of creation as well. They feel like they can help with the assist, they can help with the creation. Even though Carlos is an amazing player, we have good players around him that can also create those chances. So the same thing we talked about last week, where we're not going to see Carlos having as many touches as he usually have in games. I think there's something, I'm not going to say mentally, but at the back of their head, they're like, okay, I'm pretty good too. I mean, most of those guys that were on the field on Saturday, they didn't see Carlos having that 2021 season. They weren't even here. Most of them were not even in the MLS. We had 6 starters yesterday doing their MLS debuts. So, or maybe they just don't know how good Carlos is yet, or uh, maybe Carlos is not as good. He's still pretty good, but he's not that 2021 guy. So those other players are trying to maybe make a name for themselves, or they're trying to create the opportunities, or they think they can do it. So that's something to be noted too. And a point, at some point, I felt that Carlos was a little out of place in the field because he's so used to going deep and then dropping back, and then he was getting way too close to Langoni at the right side, because we all know Carlos likes to go to the right side sometimes. So he was getting way too close. They were like getting into each other lanes. So I think he's still trying to figure out how's that position is going to work. The chemistry as well. They definitely don't have that much chemistry yet. So that's something to watch and see how it goes. All right. Second half. Something also, in my opinion, right? I know some people disagree with me. I think Yusuf had this probably worst first half of the Revolution yet. I think he missed a lot of passes, missed a lot of tackles. He was completely out of pace, completely out of touch with the game. He then wakes up in the second half, but I think his first half was probably his worst first half with the Revolution. And like I said before, right? Mentally, it's a different game. It's first weekend. It's the first week. It's the season opening. So I think he was a little out of touch in the first half, right? Um, the second half starts pretty good. You almost scores a nice goal. I don't know how you guys call it, but a nice goal in the first like 2 minutes of the second half. Um, at some point, the Revolution was dominating possession and they were pressuring Nashville. Where it comes to my point, and we saw Leo Campagna coming out of the box way too much. The team was looking for him to cross to him, and then he was out of the box. And That's an issue. I don't like that. A guy with his physique, with his body, he's got to be the reference up front. He didn't have a bad game, but he could participate a little bit more. And I understand he's new into the system, so I can't really judge that. But he needs to be inside the box. I don't like him coming out of the box as much as it did on this Saturday game. All right. Um, Ganago, great on the second half. Uh, and then they had also one set piece where Carlos is going for the free kick. It's still far from the goal, but they does that side pass to you who takes way too long to shoot, and then the shot gets blocked, and then it's a counter attack. Um, and that was pretty much it. And then Fofana score was an offside goal, clear offside. Nashville had their chances. Ivacic was on a great night. I talked to the people around me. I'm still very doubtful of Ivacic. I don't know why, but I feel like he still has to prove me that he deserves that first spot. Of course, I don't know how Alex Bono is right now. I don't know if he can still be at that level, but Ivacic is the starter, but I still don't have 100% trust in him. But he had a great game, uh, including he was my man of the match. Uh, when we did the voting on Nusa Radio, he was my man of the match. I think he ended up getting the man of the match in general with 2 votes because yesterday or Saturday, it was a pretty balanced game, so it was hard to choose a player of the game. And then he had 1 vote from me, and then someone else also voted on him, I believe. Um, Thoughts. I think Porter managed the game not in the best way. I don't think he made any mistakes per se, but if I was the head coach in that situation with 60 to 65 minutes, Noel Buck will be on the field and Maxi Ruti will be on the field as well. Why? First, I don't think the pairing of the midfield, you and Yusuf, was creating as much as I would like to. Second, Noah Buck is a pretty good finisher. We've seen him scoring from distance. Um, and Uruti, so he could have a second option on offense because, like I said, Campania was coming out of the box so much, and then if you have a guy like Uruti who's a pretty good finisher too, at least you get a second threat. I think the Revs lacked a lot of shooting from outside the box, from like clear shots that weren't blocked, and didn't have like a clear chance of like a good shooting where the goalkeeper had to do like an amazing save. So those are the extra 2 subs that I would make at least. And that comes to a different issue that when I was looking at the Revs bench, I was like, that's it? Really? I feel like you signed so many players, but that's it. Uh like we had Luis Diaz as the probably and Urruti as the probably 2 offensive player, Jack Panayu 2 as well, but he's still a young kid that hasn't proven much. So I was kind of like, if we need like subs at the end of the game, I don't know who can I trust, right? I think the only guy that can be trusted per se would be Noah Buck, but he's still a young kid. So that's something that it caught my mind when I was doing the broadcast yesterday. I don't know if you guys agree. I'd like to see if you guys agree about the bench. Of course, to have Tommy Chunkalai to come back, right? And also 2 left backs and Matt Poster. But none of those besides Chunkalai are game changers, right? Those other guys play different roles. Um, so that's something that caught my mind. What else? I mean, tough game on the road. Like I said, the only difference I would do would be those extra subs. I don't understand why he wouldn't sub only Luis Diaz, which seeing him for the first time, I was like, I don't know. Still the first game, but he had some poor decisions during his shift on Saturday night. So that's something to look at. It's definitely not a starter, but I want to see him progress and see what can he do, especially being as the sub, right? The 12 men coming off the first one coming off the bench in some of the occasions as Emma Boateng was. So I think he had like one cross that he didn't even look to see if someone was in the box and he just crossed it, and then a diagonal shot with like far away, then it was like clear, not a good selection. So those are the things that, as you get into season mode, you get in full form, those things are gonna change. So I'm definitely not worried about that. So I'm curious to see what you guys think. Next week against Columbus from Gillette Stadium, I'm gonna be doing a pregame as well, and then a post game, probably from Gillette Stadium. I'm trying to see if I can catch a practice this week. But please comment below what you guys thought of the game, what you guys think of what I of those 15 minutes that I've been speaking here. If you guys agree, if you guys disagree, what do you guys like to see for next game against Columbus? It's a tough game. Um, and just to finalize, I just want to mention again, Ivacic was my man of the match. At least three good saves, important saves, and then a clean sheet. That's the first clean sheet of first clean sheet of the season after the Revs had like five last year. So pretty good performance. A draw on the road against a tough team, it's a very good point in my opinion. So I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I'm not frustrated. The team needs to start scoring. That's something we need to see, but it's only week one. All right. Thank you so much for watching. If you watch it so far, like, subscribe, please. That will help me a lot to see what you guys are enjoying and what you guys are not enjoying. Comment below your opinions. All right. Thank you so much. Till the next video.